Hello there, and welcome to part 1 of my tutorial playthrough series of Factorio. Welcome to a new world for you. This series is dedicated to players who are new to the game, interested to the game, or, I don't know, just trying to have a new angle at the beginner's game. I am offering you a series guiding you through the raw beginnings of the game towards building a big old factory and starting a missile to space. What I am going to do is to work without any modded content apart from a few tools to explain things a little bit better and to make the whole thing a little bit better visible. And I won't be using too many pre-constructed things in this series. I'm going to build this factory step by step from hand for you guys. I'm going to explain pretty much everything from scratch. What I won't do though is I won't be explaining much about how to walk, pick up things, so like the pure technical details which you will find in the settings and the key bindings. That's mainly because I strictly believe that every person in life should have their own key bindings, and that's nothing I want to talk too much about. So that's not something I want to focus too deeply into. We're going into gameplay, and starting from here, we will be talking about how to build a factory with only these 4 items in our backpack. So enjoy the ride, my friends, and let's go. But before we start, I would really appreciate a thumbs up or a subscription to my channel if you want to support my work a little bit more directly. If none of those, just keep watching because that's the most important part. So we started here, and when I look here into my inventory on this side, I see all the beautiful things I can already build. This is pretty much everything I have the technology researched for, and right now these are just a lot of icons and things, and I guess this is one of the most descriptive areas for beginners. A gun, some clips, an armor, a radar panel. That's quite understandable. That's our combat panel. This thing is called the intermediate products panel, and all these things are basically needed to build other things. So that's why they are intermediate products. Also pretty descriptive. Here we have the production section, and these are all buildings which are used to produce something from... Well, repair packs are quite of an odd job here in between, because they don't really produce anything except for repair. That's power production, that's mining. We're gonna explain each of those later. And the last right here is the logistics section. These are all items which are used to transport or store something in your factory, like transport belts to move things, chests to store things, inserters to move things from one spot to the other, pipes to move fluids. You get the idea. So that's only the beginning. When we look here at the tech tree, we're having a nice assortment of technologies which will ultimately lead to atomic bombs, among other things. And yeah, to get there, we need to do a lot of things. We start with a burner mining drill in our inventory. This is one machine which you can put down onto an ore patch, and it will start mining for you, and it needs burnable fuel. The next thing here is the stone furnace, which is used to smelter iron plates, copper plates, and bricks. Next up is some wood and some iron plates, so we have a little bit of material to work with before we smelter anything. So when we look here, we're having the map. The lit area here around me is the point of view of my character, and this is the area I can't see. This is the great unknown. The game generates the map endlessly. If you zoom out like this, we can go big time. These are mineral patches, and this is the first spot where I want to go to. But here are also some interactable objects, huge rocks, expected resources, some coal, some stone. So I'm gonna hack away on that thing and gonna pick it up, because coal is a very, very useful fuel source, and rocks, we need them for a lot of other things, and that's why it is quite nice to pick up some of those. Also, there are some trees growing down here, so I'm gonna head over there and give them a good whack. And I'm gonna pick up some wood as well, because wood is a very, very good resource. Oh, and I started about the mods in the intro, and I wanted to talk about it real quickly. So I only use like 4 mods, and you find them in the description below. One of them is turning down the light difference between day and night of the game. So the whole video experience is a lot more visible for you. I put that in because it makes the gaming process a lot better to watch for you, and it doesn't really make a difference for the game. The next one is a mod which basically puts fuel and ammunition into buildings when you place them down as a quality of life thing, because in the normal game, you need to do these steps separately, and I hate that. And the other 2 mods are calculation modules, which will help us to understand why we build what we build. And I'm going to use them a lot later, so there's nothing which actually changes the gameplay except for the mod which fills some fuel into things or ammo into gun turrets. That is nothing too game-breaking. Okay, so let's head over to this place. I'm now having a lot of stones in my inventory and a lot of wood. So this is iron, this is stone, this is copper, and this is coal. These are your basic elements from which you can craft most things in game. When we add oil, water, and uranium into the mix, we have all the minerals and base liquids the game has to offer, from which you will build pretty much everything. So I'm just hacking away the stones which are blocking the mineral patch here, because they are quite lucrative for one, and in my way for another. So when I check it out now, I have a comfortable amount of coal and stone for the beginners. So I'm going to pick up the coal and put it into my hotbar, because this is going to be something I will need a lot during the early game. So the first steps I want to achieve are getting an income of further coal. I mean, I can hack away at these patches by hand, but this is not going to bring me far. So what I'll need are more burner mining drills. So I already have one, so I'm gonna craft, let's say, a wooden chest, and I'm gonna get over here and put the burner mining drill on the coal patch, and let's put the chest in front of him, and let's toggle the alt mode, and as we see now, it's outputting coal into the chest. The thing now has 16 fuel loaded here, and it's going to work conveniently for us, and producing more and more fuel for operations. So next up will be the production of another burner mining drill. So here you see the ingredients: iron plates, iron gear wheels, and a stone furnace. The iron gear wheels are seen here, and if I had all the components, I could just click the thing and craft it in my inventory, but there is one iron plate lacking. Okay. So that's why we're going to hand mine a few clumps of iron ore, just like this. There's this little patch containing 5 pieces of ore, perfect for our needs. Let's get there. Let's put down the furnaces into the hotbar as well, because these are some items I'll use a lot as well. Same goes for the iron ore. And let's put it into the smelter. There's coal in the smelter, there's iron in the smelter. It's producing iron plates. Huzzah! Our first iron plate production. So, armed with these, I am able to build another burner mining drill. And as you might already have figured, this brings us to the point where we're going to put this beautiful thing into our hotbar as well, together with another wooden chest, because also something I'm going to be using a lot here. And we put them down here, and let's give this guy the max amount of coal he can store, because we're gonna let him work for us and gather up the iron ore for more plates. And this is going to continue until I can afford another of these guys. So that's why I was so crazy about the stone at the beginning. As you might notice here, every stone furnace needs stone, and now I already have a convenient source of these. And I only need to worry about the iron ore at this point and not about the stones. So I'm gonna fill the fuel resources of all these machines to max, so they are working a while for us. So hey, look at that, our first machinery is rolling already. So another burner miner is available, and now the next step will be something towards more fuel production. So I'm going to pick up the chest here and gonna build a burner miner like this, and I'm gonna rotate them like this, so they are facing towards each other. And what they're doing now is they are mining the coal and automatically feeding each other with new fuel, thus endlessly mining the coal. And I can just pick it up, and it is an endless source of fuel for now, so it's perfect for our early game needs. So we have now our first little thing going here, and I think it is time to put up another furnace and get the iron plate production spread over more furnaces, so everything gets done a little bit quicker. Because ultimately we're going to do the same thing now with the copper ore. And after this, I mean, I don't want to do this by hand endlessly. We're going to rush towards the production of a steam engine, a boiler, and a connected offshore pump to produce electricity, and thus moving forward to electric mining drills, which will do this work a lot more efficiently and a lot more automatically for us. But right now, the early game of Factorio is a lot of handwork, and that's also a phase I enjoy a lot. It's very, very relaxed for me. Okay, so now I'm starting to be able to build things a lot quicker than before, as you might notice here. We're just running here and there and getting new things. And another thing I want to do from here on is putting down a miner and the furnace right in front of it. This way the mining machine just drops the ore directly into the furnace, and there it's going to get smeltered, and that's going to be that. I just didn't do that in the beginning because I didn't have enough fuel to maintain this easily. So, but now fuel is none of my concerns anymore. So I can feed these machines without trouble, and this way I'm having an easy income of plates, which will bring me quicker towards the next machines we want to build. I think I'm gonna expand this little complex by another drill for iron and I don't think I'm gonna build another for copper. Copper is a very unimportant resource for the early game, as a matter of fact. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to expand my coal production, because 2 burner miners are, as a matter of fact, a little bit too less. So, of course, you can expand this formation, as you might have noticed. And this way I have all the coals I need. And also the plates are racking up quite nicely. Wonderful. So this way we are getting on our feet rather quickly, which is good, because there's no reason to wait unnecessarily. And I tell you what, we're going to go for a 4th iron plate array, because I just figured how many iron plates we're going to need during the next few minutes, and it is going to be good if we have a very, very steady supply of those. There we go. Wonderful. So, the next step will be to produce electric mining drills, which will automatically drop down the ore on a transport belt. I'm going to produce a few to demonstrate. Let's put them into the hotbar, like this. And this will just transport the ore towards places where we want it to be. We're going to use inserters to transport things. There we go. It's an inserter. We're going to use inserters to transport things into machines like this. Oh, well, maybe I was too quick with that. With an inserter, the arrow thingy is always pointing towards where you want to put something, whereas the line is always determining the source from where it's going to be taken. The white square is marking it quite nicely. So with something like this, the ore that would be rolling next to the furnace would have just been picked up into the furnace, and this way we can do things a lot more automatically, because there's the next thing we can do. We could do something like this, and we could output the metal out of the furnace, and this is going to be the first thing we're going to build this episode. The first machine we're going to build is going to be a basic automated smelting array with a little power source, because this is the most simple yet most meaningful construction during the early game. So to produce electric mining drills, you just need a lot of iron plates and copper, a little bit of copper. If you can compare 23 iron plates towards 4.5 copper. So that's why I have 4 of these machines towards 1 of these machines, because that's also roughly the weight between the materials here. So we're going to build 2 of these guys, because we're going to need them to produce power as well, because we will produce power through combustion of coal, and thus this stuff has to be mined. So after this has been already done, we're going to have a look on the electric miner. This is a electric mining machine. Say hello to the more professional cousin of the good old burner miner here. So these guys will output the coal in front of them here. So the radius you're seeing here is the area from where the mineral is picked up. I didn't place them ideally here, but it doesn't matter too much here. And as you can see, it's unplugged because it is a electric mining drill, so it wants electricity. But we're gonna get there, no worries. Going to drop down a few belts here, so that's going to be one day the direction where the ore will flow. And in between, I'm just going to pick up my products here, and you're seeing here the fuel is running out in the production facilities. There we go. Later on, we will be putting fuel automatically into the machines that are needing it, which will be a lot more comfortable, but right now I just have to babysit those things a little bit. But they are producing a decent amount of plates for us. Okay, we now have the machines to produce the coal, but now we also will build the machines to burn the coal. So we're going to do a boiler. It needs pipes and a stone furnace, so it's a rather cheap recipe. A burner burns fuel to turn water into steam. Steam is being consumed by steam engines and is therefore transformed into electricity. So one boiler produces 60 units of steam per second, and one steam engine consumes 30 units of steam per second. So simple math, one boiler can support 2 steam engines. So this is going to be what we're using for starters, because this is going to produce all the energy we will need for our little starter setup. Later on, we will expand that. So, but to boil water into steam, we also need water, and that's where the offshore pump comes into play. It's having a output of 1,200 units of water per second. The boiler only needs 60 of those, so we're all set. So with these things in our pockets, we're almost there. But we're also going to need some pipes, because water is not transported with transport belts or chests. Of course, it's being transported by pipes. So we're producing a lot of them. In the meantime, I'm going to head over there and picking up some more stuff, giving those machines the fuel they want. Meanwhile, all the pipes are getting crafted. And then I'm going to go over there, and there's our water. Look at this beautiful blue ocean. There's also some fish in there which you can loot. You can heal yourself with them in combat. So we're going to pick up a few of them, because they are rather useful. Oh, and there's another rock. I mean, I don't really need stones right now, but what the heck. And let's get to our inventory, and let's put down the offshore pump. The game shows us the spots where we can put it down. And let me take a moment to consider. Because the space where we're going to produce power is going to be quite big later on. So I'm already considering where we're going to put it down. But yeah, these trees, we're going to remove them across the next time. So this is going to be where the offshore pump is going to live. It doesn't need electricity, it's just working on itself, which is a quite nice feature. So let's expand our quick bar, and I'm putting the pipes, the pipe to grounds, and all the stuff I need for electricity production into this hotbar, because I'm gonna need that more often together. Okay, now next step, I'm going to put down some water pipes, because we are going to connect the boiler not directly to the coast. So as you can see here, the thing has one throughput in the middle where the water flows from one end to the other, and these entries I'm talking about are marked with that blue drop symbol, and the last one on the other side is having a little white cloud mark and then near the blue arrow, and we're going to place it down. This is the boiler. Water flows through here, steam goes out there. So we're going to pick up the steam engines next, and we're going to connect them here and there. So what's going to happen? The boiler burns the fuel, water goes through here, turns into steam, goes through here. We're having electricity. Boom. To transport electricity, we're using small electric poles. So I'm going to craft a lot of them. Also, I'm going to need a lot of transport belts because I'm going to transport the coal over to the power production facility. So, back to our good old mining field. I'm going to feed the beasts. I'm going to feed the beasts and loot the plates. And there. I'm now building a few more of those belts, and I think we should be all set. I'm going to pick up this belt already from here, and I'm leading it here. Oh, there's a cliff in the way. Okay. There we go. So let's go from here. Possibly I'm going to have to move this a little bit around later on, but one good thing about Factorio is every thing you place down somewhere can be moved without any penalty at any time of the game. So it is a very, very mistake-friendly environment, which is something which I appreciate a lot about the game. It makes experimenting fun, and gives you some inspiration to do so. Alright, so to get coal into the burner at some point, we're going to need an inserter. Again, the yellow arrow has to point towards the machine, which has to receive the stuff. So there we go. And next up will be the power poles, because we need to move the energy from the steam engine to the electric miners. So we're going to start here, and the blue radius you're seeing is the actual energy range of the small power pole. So as you see now here, the thing is suffering from having no fuel, so I'm going to give him one on the house out of my pocket. And if you hold the mouse button and just walk like this, the game automatically drops down one pole whenever you're at the maximum distance, which is a very, very nice and handy feature. There we go. So now these guys have electricity, and there they go. Coal on a transporter belt. You also can move on the transporter belts. You're also getting slowed down if you're moving against the transporter belts. So, basics. And now the black rocks are getting transported to over there, where the inserter arms are already waiting for them. So I'm going to remove all the fuel I put into the machine, so it's going to work as intended. And there we go. The inserter is feeding the machine. And as long as there is going to be coal around here, the machines will work indefinitely, producing electricity. When you click on one of the electric poles, you're also getting a power readout of your production. So right now, it's showing that we're having a production of 180 kilowatt and a maximum production of 1.9 megawatt. And right now, all the 180 kilowatt are getting satisfied. These are needed for the miners. There's also some electricity need from the inserters, but they only need electricity while they're working, so while it's standing still, it's not needing any electricity. Okay, so that's that. Since I'm now having electricity available, I will, for one, expand this for another boiler and 2 steam engines, and I'm going to build a few more electric miners, because the next step, and this is going to be also the goal of this video, is going to be coal production for the iron and stuff here. So we're going to mine electrically everything here. But next up is going to be the same thing as before. I'm going to put down a boiler and 2 steam engines here, and some electric poles. Inserter. There we go. I just want to have some some working force here, and as you have noticed, it is very simple to connect more pieces into the chain. And as we will connect more boilers, of course we will need more miners. These 2 miners won't be satisfying the fuel needs of these guys forever, but one thing at a time. So now we're going to use our miners, and look at that. These guys are have mined out all the iron beneath them. It's a very good moment to reach that. So we're going to put down the iron miners like this. Oh dear. We're going to do it like that. As you see here, the radius of these 2 machines is quite ideal to cover up all the stuff here. It's going to be a little bit adventurous with the belt, because I need to connect them both like this, but this does work. Oh, but I'm going to do it into the other direction. There we go. Okay. So that's the first thing. Now let's pick up some electric poles and transport the electricity we need down to these miners. There we go. They're working now. And we're also going to put down 2 more electric miners for coal up here. Yeah, we're going to make it like that. I was just thinking for a moment there, but I think this is going to be a good example. So, yeah. I think I have to wait for a second here until the belts are being done. Yeah, I'm going to do this like that. Normally, I would never run a belt like this for no reason through a ore patch, but for today we're gonna do it. Because I can rearrange it later if I need it. Like I said before, the game is very forgiving with little mistakes, or like in this scenario, I'm doing a mistake, kind of like a mistake on purpose. So there we go. Let's give these buddies some electricity too, so they will work as well. And I'm going to put down 2 more of those. If you want to do it a little bit more efficiently, you do it like that. But if you place them compact, you're mining out the field more quickly. So if you place them apart from each other, you're mining out more slowly, because the more miners you have on a field, the more ore you yield per second. So I personally always prefer to have the maximum amount of miners on a field to get all the stuff mine down as quick as possible. Okay, so now we have the fuel we need. This feels like a disgrace to me, but we're going to live through this. And the next thing I'm going to do is, whoopsie, put down the copper miners like this. And I'm going to produce some more belts. And you might already be noticing it, we're almost there. There's really not much left to be done except for connecting the bits and pieces. So how will I do that now? I think one of the easiest ways to achieve what I want to is to be running it like that. I'm going to let the coal flow a little bit differently there. Oopsie. Don't want to mine. Like I said, normally I would never run a belt through a ore patch like that, but right now it is working out quite okay for me. But this is only because I have no option to run belts underground through these cliffs right now. And I don't want to hack away all these trees. Okay. Enough of the explaining. Let's go for inserters here and inserters there. Okay. And I'm going to build a few more inserters. And this guy has run dry too. Okay. Let's just see, it's about time that we do this a little bit differently. So for now, I'm going to make a simple thing like that. We're going to use this only for like a few episodes, not for long. So this is going to be our first simple method of producing copper plates. So simply explained, the furnaces are getting copper from this belt, from this inserter. They will get coal from this belt, from this inserter, and then after they have produced the copper plates, they will output it via this inserter into the chest. So if you look in this chest, there are this many slots in there. Every slot is taking 50 plates. So there's going to be some smeltering to be done before these guys run full. So, and as a matter of fact, I can also do this like that. And I'm going to put the leftover ore in my inventory into these guys and the leftover coal. So they'll burn through all this, and there we are. And I just figured that I will just do the same thing with the iron and the with the iron, like with the copper there, because these are running like I think. Oh, this is not quite right. We need to go a little bit more up. So there we go. Okay. Now, yeah, this works out. Let's do them like this, yeah. I'm going to do the same funky little thing I used before. Like I said, I'm not going to use that for long because it's definitely not ideal, but it is definitely something which works for now, and that's why we're using it. So same fun setup like before, with the only difference that I am doing it twice, because this is like not enough for me. So let's connect it like that. Run a little bit of belt here. So I'm going to put it here. There we go. I used the other chest as a measurement where to store it. And there we go. Same build as before. And there you have it. And these chests are, for now, the iron plates we produce. This is some very simple setup which produces the basics we need for the game. And this is going to be the end of episode 1, because we're here sitting on a kind of automated plate production. I say kind of because for my understanding, for an ideal solution for me personally, these things must end on belts, and they're right now not ending on belts, but come on, it's working. So I hope you guys enjoyed everything, and as most importantly understood everything. And if there are still questions open or things you want to know more about, drop me a comment below. I will gladly answer. And until then, I hope you check by for the next episode, when we will continue building this little factory. And the next episode will be about building more professional metal production arrays, and getting towards research, because right now my tools are very limited, and research opens up new tools. So next episode, more plates in a less archaic way, but for now it'll work, and research. So until then, I hope you come again, and goodbye.